she had a good relationship with Tupac, and she just didn't want to get in the middle of it. And she thought, like, if she had done that movie, it would have been a little weird.
What's happening, baby?
I wasn't in that bathroom, but, you know, could have happened. But you're in the bathroom with this man taking a bath. So I don't know.
Larenz Tate just dropped a bombshell that has fans spiraling. In a new interview, he hinted that Jada Pinkett Smith and Tupac might have filmed something very unexpected while on the set of Menace II Society. And no, we're not talking about a movie scene. The internet is already buzzing with theories about what really went down behind the scenes. And let's just say, it's not what Jada has been telling us all these years. In fact, it seems like she's been twisting the narrative for her own reasons over the years, by calling Pac her soulmate and even describing a kiss between the two as disgusting. Just why did she do it? And is Larenz really onto something here? Let's find out. So Larenz Tate has been spilling the truth about Menace II Society, and he's got some interesting things to say. More recently, he sat down for one interview and talked about how close Jada and Tupac actually were. Apparently, Jada had the chance to take on the role of Delilah in Dead Presidents, but she didn't. And she revealed the real reason behind the decision to Larenz years later when they ended up as co-stars on the set of Girls Trip. Turns out that the actress turned down the role all because it was directed by the Hughes brothers.
On set in New Orleans talking about that experience, I said, well, Jada, I talked to the Hughes brothers and you were supposed to be in the movie. And she says, I was. I said, why didn't you do the movie? That they kept saying they had the character Delilah, you know, who was the sister of Juanita, okay, you was gonna be this revolutionary thing. And she was like, I just couldn't do it because at the time I was really close with Tupac, and Tupac had this sort of beef at the time with the Hughes brothers.
FYI, Pac and the Hughes brothers were not exactly on good terms. He got cast for the role of Sharif, but was fired by the directors for being too problematic on the set.
Alan Hughes was like, Tupac, why are you acting like a bitch? You're acting like a bitch right now. You're acting like a straight bitch. Let's step outside. This is what I hear.
And well, Pac retaliated by showing up on set a few days later and throwing literal hands.
I'm pretty sure that kind of fucked him up when he showed up at the set and he wanted to get down with him. Like, nigga, we finna go up here and fuck up some shit. It ain't finna be no talking, ain't finna be no, you know, explaining. Tupac, like, we finna pull straight up there because he probably knew they're not gonna do anything. So let's just go up in there and start some shit.
The Hughes brothers ended up filing assault and battery charges against the rapper. And surprisingly, he was more than ready to serve time for his actions. In fact, Pac admitted to the crime and served 15 days in jail.
Check this out, they fired me but did it in a roundabout punk snitch way. So I caught them on the streets and beat they behinds. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
like, I was a to the Hughes brothers. And it ain't over. I still got more than Don't jump to the TV.
Given everything that went down, according to Tate, Jada didn't want to betray Pac by working on a project when they had screwed him over big time. He said she had a good relationship with Tupac and she didn't want to get in the middle of it. She thought if she had done that movie, it would have been a little weird. And honestly, the fact that Jada went this far for Tupac is not all that surprising. He's the reason she had a spot on that set in the first place. See, when the role of Ronnie, a single mother in Menace II Society, first came up as an opportunity for Jada, she was questioning whether she should accept the offer or not. Confused, she almost turned it down, but that's when Pac stepped in and pushed her to take the leap of faith. During an interview with Entertainment Weekly, she said, "I was questioning whether I should do it or not, and Pac was like, look, just because I'm not doing it, you should still do it. I probably wouldn't have done it without his blessing." And looking back, she's glad that her friend gave her that push because after her feature debut, Jada got her big break, landing roles in films like Set It Off, Jason's Lyric, and more. Still, the fact that Jada let go of an opportunity like working on Dead Presidents all for Tupac is shocking. And honestly, Larenz suspected something else going on between the two. In fact, he believes that he wanted to work with Jada on the same project so he could mess around with her. Because in his eyes, Jada wouldn't do something like that for a friend. And it seems like he's onto something because Jada and Pac's relationship has always come off as sus in fans' eyes. They'd been friends since college. And honestly, that's not a time when young kids keep it in their pants.
We met at Baltimore School of the Arts. It was the first day, and he came over to me and introduced himself. And in high school, Pac was a little funny looking.
During one interview, Jada said, Pac was new. It was my sophomore year, and he looked over and he saw me, and he just targeted me. He had a little peanut head. He was just this happy, bouncy, energetic, just full of life, vibrant, you know? And I was like, whoa, not to mention that Jada used to call Pac her soulmate. She said, if there is such a thing as past lives, I definitely think that Pac and I have traveled a few together. And that's not all. Apparently these two did get funky behind the scenes. Yeah, both of them locked lips on Jada's back porch once. Turns out they too couldn't understand why they were not attracted to one another. And so they decided to check one night the best way they knew how.
You know, understanding that Pac and I had a hard time understanding why it just we didn't have it. And I talk about it in the book, you know, that being on the back porch of my house and we're like having this discussion. I'm like, okay, Pac, just kiss me.
However, Jada downplays the moment, saying, we both pulled back like, what the hell? She said, laughing. It was not for either one of us.
And he kisses me, and it's the most disgusting kiss between us both. I mean, he pulled back just like, and I pulled back, and I was like, see, dummy, you know, and from there it was just like, and then there was one more time he kissed me, and it was just like, and I talk about that in jail when I go to see him in Dannemora. That's a whole nother thing. And once again, it's just like, dude, doesn't work.
But fans never believed her version of the story. Why? Well, apart from the mounting evidence, there was also Jada's ex-assistant. See, Tasha K had her over for an interview, and she got talking about how Jada's a certified liar.
I don't think there is anything that she hasn't lied about, even the nature of her relationship with Tupac. Like, she claims they weren't ever sexual, and I think she did that in order to make Will feel better. I think, in my opinion, Jada would lie to anyone in order to save what she feels is their feelings.
And guess what the assistant said in response? She revealed a story about when she came home one day and caught Jada and Pac in the bathroom together. And honestly, there's no way Jada can explain that without getting some side eyes.
I remember one time when Jada moved in with me, we were on Hughes in Culver City, and I remember coming home, she ran out of the bathroom, and she's like, Tupac's in the Tupac's here, he's taking a bath. And, you know, she came out with deer headlights. I don't know. I'm just saying I wasn't in that bathroom, but...
Tasha floated the possibility of Jada freaking out because she was afraid that the assistant would snitch to her mom. But here's what she had to say in response to that.
Maybe you were going to tell her mom that she was in the bathrooms? And
I mean, she's grown now. You know, she's over 18. She's 19 or whatever.
Was Tupac famous at this time?
Yeah, I think he was with Digital Underground at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, it's hard to believe Jada's lies after that story. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Willow wrote this letter to Pac that sent the internet into a frenzy. Dear Tupac, I know you are alive someplace. I think that my mommy really misses you. Can you please come back? Can you come back so mommy and me can be happy? I wish you were here. I really do. Love, Willow. And that had people asking all sorts of questions. One person wrote, does anyone else find the letter Willow wrote kinda odd? Like, weren't her parents together at the time? Did Jada go around telling her kids that she's not happy with their dad and telling them she would rather be with Tupac, who had passed away? IDK? Maybe it's just me, and it doesn't end there. Shakur's 1999 poetry collection, The Rose That Grew from Concrete, included a poem titled Jada for her childhood friend, and honestly, a lot of people were side-eyeing the two. It read, you are the omega of my heart, the foundation for my conception of love. When I think of what a black woman should be, it's you that I first think of. You will never fully understand how deeply my heart feels for you. I worry that we'll grow apart, and I'll end up losing. You bring me to climax without sex, and you do it all with regal grace. You are my heart in human form, a friend I could never replace. Yeah, nothing to suspect here. What's more, during an interview with the All the Smoke podcast, Jada revealed that Pac actually proposed to her while he was in prison. "I knew at that time that he needed somebody to do time with him, which I was gonna do anyway. He didn't have to marry me to do that. I'm here. He needed a rock. Because of our friendship and everything we had been through together, he just wanted to feel that solidified foundation. And so with all the mounting evidence, it's hard to think that Jada and Pac had nothing going on, or that he didn't put her on the set of Menace II Society to mess around. However, there are some objections to the theory. For one, Tyron Turner, the lead actor for the movie, made it clear that Jada getting the role because of Pac was a lie.
My version of it is that I forgot the girl that came in and she played the house party, the black girl from House Party. I forgot. And she was in Baby Boy as Tyree's mom. She came. I hate when I wish somebody get a Wikipedia or something and look that up real fast who that name is.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. I mean, it's no problem.
Cause I don't want to disrespect her because I think she's a brilliant actress.
And you said what movie was she in?
She was in Baby Boy.
Baby Boy. Oh, you talking about AJ Johnson?
AJ Johnson.
Yeah, okay.
AJ Johnson came in to play my girlfriend.
According to him, the directors had a reading for the role so they could see who best matched Tyron's energy. And Jada went through the process like everyone else.
When Jada came in, we matched. The energy was there. I looked at Alan. Alan looked at me. We looked at each other and said, "That's the girl." So the Tupac thing, that was I don't think that was, maybe that was one of the things that she felt, or I know what me and Alan talked about and what we saw when we seen that energy. The same as when Larenz came in, like we just knew the chemistry was there.
Tyron also said that Alan Hughes wasn't the type of person to hire someone simply because someone else recommended them or vice versa. When Alan talked about hiring Tyron for the lead role, the studio actually shut him down. But he saw something in Tyron, and so he hired him anyway, despite the pushback from the studio. What's more, Jada has denied having a physical relationship with Pac for the longest time. During one interview, she said that a romantic connection between the two wasn't possible because there was no chemistry between them. And when the interviewer pressed her saying that the chemistry was obvious, she said this: "It's that friendship-love chemistry. It was almost like God made us that way. It was like, look, I'm gonna put y'all together, right? Y'all are gonna be a dynamic duo, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna make it so y'all are not gonna be able to get together, because that just wasn't the purpose." She also wrote this for an article in the Time magazine. "There were no airs between us either. We could be raw and authentic, without the constraints of having to impress each other. There were no butterflies, no tingles in the body, no hot desire to be in each other's embrace. Rather, there was something far more important unfolding between us, a friendship of a powerful strength, giving us the ability to hold space for each other through some of the most unbearable moments of our lives. Still, fans think that Jada is only trying to cover up her physical relationship with Pac for some reason that fans can't figure out. She's not exactly the most truthful person out there either. One person wrote, "There is far too much chemistry coming out of those pictures for absolutely nothing physical to have happened. Maybe it was a one-off and they decided they were better as friends. I don't know, but I have no problem thinking that Jada lies, not only to make herself look better, but to control the narrative she wants out there. And so between the way that she talks about Pac and how close the two were, it's hard to think otherwise. Not to mention that these two had someone like Larenz questioning what they were up to on the set of Menace II Society. But what do you think? Did Pac and Jada really have something going on? And was Larenz's hunch about the two of them filming a movie of their own on the set of Menace II Society right or not? Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and make sure to check out this next video.